Hello everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to the Thursday video. Now, as you can tell by the title, this video is going to be a bit different than we usually do.
Different content.
But our channel needs a new trailer. So some of you might be watching this as the trailer to our channel.
What is the trailer?
The trailer right now, when we're filming this, is just me talking about myself, and it's just called Hello in all lowercase.
Just says hi.
So it needed some updating. It was about 2 years old. And now Ryan's basically in every single video, so it needs to be both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do Meet the Poshers, where we just describe our lives, how we got onto Poshmark, and like our current state of like selling or business. And if you hear a dog barking, as you guys know, it's Mike.
Mike can see people coming in.
Mike wants to be part of the Meet the Posher, I guess. Meet the Posh Pup. So let's start with Posh Pup.
Oh, you look big.
Meet the Posh Pup. This is Mike, or Michael. His full name's Michael. I used to only call him Michael, but I've adapted to calling him Mike.
Or Mark.
Yeah, or we accidentally call him Mark. I don't know why. He was born in Oklahoma.
He's so big.
He says, don't say that place again. He was born in Oklahoma, so he's a so... Why does he know that word? Oklahoma?
Oklahoma? Never talked
He says,
that
don't
word.
do that! Mike was born in Oklahoma. I purchased him this summer between my second year of college and third. And then he lived with me in my apartment. And I have now had Mike for like 2.5 years, and he's about 3.5 years
He's only gotten
old.
bigger.
And actually, I think he should be done growing unless it's girth. Mike is 3.5, and
Oh my god.
he doesn't do much to pay his bills, so...
He doesn't do... let's just cross out not much, and in like red pen write like anything.
That's kind of all there is. He's kind of got a flat life.
When he plays with his money bag.
His favorite toy is a money bag. That's Mike. Mike just wanted to have his little moment with Meet the Posh Pup before you see ours.
He wanted to have his 15 minutes.
So now we'll move on to us.
48.
Okay.
The new Instagram tag.
So I will start with mine.
Now.
I'm originally from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
You probably know that by now. That's why we go there so often. My family still lives in Minnesota. But I went to school there, and I've lived there all my life. And then when I got to college, I toured like 3 places. The third place I toured was Iowa State. And I actually applied at Iowa State because one of my close high school friends got accepted there. And I was hanging out at his house, and I literally was like, I'll try. It was only like a $20 like application fee. And so I was like, well, I'll try. Because I looked at pictures and I was like, it looks pretty. Like, I hadn't applied anywhere. And I was like, whatever. The next morning, I got an acceptance email. And so I kind of was like, well, I'm gonna take a tour, because he had already planned that he was gonna go take a tour. So then we toured it together. I knew his family really well. I decided that's where I was going. I literally didn't apply anywhere else. I didn't really tour anywhere else. That's kind of what I decided on. I went for accounting, and I did accounting the whole time. I never changed what I wanted to do or anything. I went in knowing I wanted to do it because I really liked my accounting class in high school, and it came really easily. I always was really good at math, and I didn't want to be a math teacher, and there's not too much other math stuff besides like finance, which I hate. And so I went for accounting, and that's what my mom does. Stuck with accounting. Third year of college, I met Ryan.
Hi again.
And pretty quickly after that started my reselling journey. So
#posh journey.
I started reselling through iPads, surprisingly, and through eBay and Facebook Marketplace, surprisingly. I really love Apple products, and I upgrade when I can. The phone I do every year, the other stuff I do when I feel like mine's outdated. And I wanted to upgrade my iPad. I went onto eBay to shop for one. I realized that there's a ton of iPads on eBay that are marked completely lower than they're worth. And they're lower than even other people who know what they're selling are selling them for on eBay. And so I got mine, but I also bought 2 more. And so I had 3 iPads coming in. All of them completely underpriced. They were like, one was like $80, and I knew that I could sell it for like $200. Got all those, put them on the Facebook Marketplace, and like instantly they sold. Like that by the next day, I had someone who wanted to meet me and get them. They profited me like together probably like $200. So I was like, okay. And so I started
That's a
to
lot
look
for some
again.
iPads.
And then I used the money I earned from that to get more iPads. And then I started to just like go through that. I made my own graph of like each generation, each memory, whatever, color, what they were worth, what they were like selling for, trending for on eBay, what I thought I could get them on the marketplace and all that. And like their model number so I could easily find them. And so I just started to like cycle through those, but this was like all cash, so it looked really sketchy. I had a little trunk in my room.
I was gonna say, we still have the trunk.
I still have the
It's
trunk,
funny.
not full of cash, but I had this
Full
little
of
trunk
home
in my
items.
room full of cash from the iPad money that I was getting in.
It looked like a lewd business.
And so Ryan was just like, well, I do this thing called Poshmark, and I sell clothes and like purses and like fashion stuff. Why don't you do that? And all my life, I'd really liked my version of fashion, which was Versace, Guess, and Calvin Klein.
3 very different.
I loved all of those so
Different
much for a
places.
long time. So I was like, maybe I'll try. And so I went home to Minnesota for one weekend. I went to the Goodwill, which I've liked thrifting. I've loved thrifting all my life. So that was not a big problem for me. And I looked through all the purses. There was this whole wall of them. And I found Marc Jacobs. And somehow it just stuck out to me. I don't think at that point I even knew who Marc Jacobs was, but it stuck out to me. And so I Googled it. And I was like, It was only like $6. Got it. Listed it for $150. It sold super fast. And so I really started by doing like wallets and purses. I was like heavily just that for like a while.
Yeah, you did do a lot of
Because
purses.
to me, they turned up a lot of profit and they sold pretty quick. Then Ryan talked me into doing clothes. And so I implemented clothing because I realized, some like clothing can be worth as much as like a nice purse. So then I did clothes and then we got here. Now it's my full-time job and I graduated with an accounting degree. I don't want to be in a cubicle my entire life. So at least for right now, I'm just going to do full-time Posh. My business has been like just exponentially growing over the past summer and past like year that it's looking good for just being a full-time Posh seller. And once we move back to Minnesota, which we plan on doing once Ryan graduates, it's just endless possibilities. Like my business, I foresee it like almost like quadrupling. So yeah. Ryan's turn.
Okay, so Midwest born and raised, cornbread, corn-fed, as we say. I'm from Des Moines, which
Cornfield is where I spent most of my days.
accurate. No, actually, Des Moines is this like weird little pocket of Iowa that like it's not very like Iowan, so like it's not very like cornfield,
The capital.
tractor. Yeah,
It's also like in the dead center.
literally. So I was born there. I started happy childhood, yada yada yada. Mom, dad, sister, cat. I started reselling
White
when
picket
I worked.
fence.
Todd doesn't like fences. My dad hates fences. So I started reselling, kind of like through somebody else. I worked for a Plato's Closet. I started when I was like 15. I was still in high school. I worked my way up to being a buyer, which if you've ever been to a Plato's Closet, it's that like teenager that kind of like stands there and like takes your bags and moves them and like takes your stuff down. Whatever. That was
The buyers like higher up there than like the cashiers and stuff.
So I was the one who kind of like went through people's stuff and said, we'll take, these items versus these, we'll give you this much money, yada, yada, yada. So I got to a point where I was like, well, shoot, I can do this for myself and make my own money. So I started going to Goodwill. Luckily, Des Moines and where I was from is a pretty affluent community, so there was a lot of, at the time, they've kind of gone downhill, but the Goodwills then were pretty good. So I started
Compared to all of the rest of Iowa, his city has the best ones.
They're really good.
I would
I've
say
heard
his
it,
city
too.
is kind of like a piece of Minnesota that just
It
like
really
fell
is.
off down into the state of Iowa.
Really is. So I started looking for the same brands that I'd pick up at work at Goodwill. And then I realized Plato's typically doesn't price their items very high. So I would use my employee discount and get things that I knew I could make money on. And then I started, learning more about like different brands and like, hiring women's brands and kind of like, I think more mature brands that were geared not towards like, 12 to 24 year olds. So that's how I started. I started selling on Poshmark. I dabble a little bit in like Mercari, eBay.
We both dabble on Mercari and eBay. I'm a heavy Real user, as you can tell by my videos if you already watched
that
them.
went up 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
But yeah, we're trying to work our way, now that this is more of like an actual part of our life and our only source of income, we're trying to like venture off into other places to sell.
Yeah.
But I think we're always going to consider ourselves like Poshmark sellers because we mainly sell on Poshmark. We also consider ourselves to be like Minnesota resellers, though we live in Iowa for right now. For right now. It ain't gonna be much longer. We'll be back up there. We do all of our sourcing in Minnesota. All of our like reseller friends, besides Ann Eckhart, that you all know, live in Minnesota.
She will forever live in Waterloo.
She will
forever live here.
We're just forever expanding for right now.
I'm still in school, so once I get done with school, whether it be here or there, whenever I decide to finish, we'll move up.
Yeah,
which I'm very excited for. I cannot wait.
It's my full-time job. It's like Ryan's part-time job, but that's only because he's a student. It's still his only source of income.
If I had the time, it would be a full-time job.
Yeah.
Whatever I decide to like get a degree with, hopefully it's still art. Whatever I end up doing with that will be the other half of my income. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time, and then we get bennies.
Ryan's gonna be the supplier of our benefits because resellers don't get benefits unless you buy them yourself. That's us.
Thanks for my #me video.
I hope you liked learning about us. If you've watched us for a while, you might have known all of this.
I think some of this is not self-explanatory, but
we've needed to update our trailer. So we do have a haul that's like waiting in a different room to be filmed.
We'll film that later.
That'll be coming up on Tuesday.
I love hauls.
And we do have a What's Sold Saturday coming this Saturday.
Oh.
So definitely subscribe. And like this if you like us.
Follow me on Instagram.
And
follow Jack on Instagram.
You can ask us questions if there's anything else that you want to know about us. But
ask me things.
That's about it. So thank you for watching.
Thank you very much now.
Bye.
Okay, bye.